I'm finally not recording it behind the desk as soon as I wake up. This feels so good. Wow, I'm awake actually. Before I get into anything, two things to note. First thing, I made a second channel. It'll just be for gameplay and like commentary over gameplay stuff and maybe some other dumb videos that I don't want to clutter with this channel, like the 2 Incineroar videos, as much as I do like them. I only have one video up on that second channel for now, but that video will be linked at the end of the video along with the second channel, so I'd appreciate it if you at the very least checked it out. If you like it, and you like the 2 Incineroar videos that are on this channel, you should probably subscribe, because eventually there will be more videos like that on that channel. Second, I have a Disney video coming. I think I said it a while ago, but it's coming. I promise. I will absolutely make sure that the next video on this channel will be the Disney one, or at least within the next 2 uploads, because God knows what'll happen between this and the release of that video. But anyway, Pokemon had some big news recently, huh? Yeah, everybody like that new Post Malone song? I did, but yeah, no. Obviously, Pokemon dropped some pretty big bombs with Legends, and of course, the game that felt like it was locked in freaking Phantom Zone, Gen 4 Remake, was finally announced. That being said, though, it was definitely not met with the reaction that you'd think it'd have, and that's because the Pokemon fan base, at least, like, the vocal majority, just can't be happy about good news. I'm pretty sure ever since, what, Sun and Moon? The outcry for a Gen 4 remake was so loud, it was hard to not hear people calling for it when talking about Pokemon announcements and news. Years, actual literal years, going by with people trying to call the announcement, being mad when Game Freak and Nintendo didn't announce it. It was just this cycle of disappointment, and considering the punches that like half those people took with Sword and Shield, it was probably just getting worse and worse for them. Now that we finally have it, people can't be happy? Why? People are upset for the dumbest reason, and you can probably guess why, too, considering what's been on the screen so far. Very good, attentive viewer. It is because of the way it looks. Or at least according to the fan base, the graphics. The very vocal fans, heavy quotes around fans at this point, because if you're a fan, you would not be this... Ugh. They keep saying that the game looks bad and has bad graphics, and I don't understand how they could even be saying that. When you look at the trailer, you can very much tell that the game doesn't look bad. If anything, it has a very weird sense of polish considering the game's probably not even done yet. You know what the worst part to me is in this entire trailer? It looks like they walk real goofy. That's it! Environments look really clean and sharp. Character models, when they're in battle and actually big, look really good and faithful. The Pokemon look like fucking Pokemon. There's a big difference between bad graphics and an art style. This was clearly art direction and has nothing to do with the graphical fidelity. It looks like the original games in a 3D environment, yes. It doesn't look like Sword and Shield, yes. Why is that such a bad thing? So many people were pissed off about how Sword and Shield looked and the quality of the visuals of that game. It's completely possible that a game company could update their assets or make new, better ones, but considering it's Game Freak we're talking about, I have a hard time believing they would do that in 2 years considering how much time they had to actually make Sword and Shield. If anything, you could already argue that Sword and Shield looks worse than the Gen 4 remake. A simpler art style means that they can focus a hell of a lot more on polishing their assets because they kinda need to, at least considering how much less there is in actual scale. In the original Pokemon games, you can kind of tell what the handful of original assets they made were, and then they're scattered across the whole game. It's the same thing now for the remake. In Sword and Shield, they had to make an entire wild area and make it look good, and they didn't. The scale was completely different, but I'm guessing they tried doing the same shortcuts, and they failed. Not to mention things just looking out of place. The new DLC locations look a bit better, but only certain spots. Mind you, it's not like any location in the game is bad to look at because in reality they aren't while you're actually playing it. It's only when you stop and pull out sections from it that make you see how really not great areas look. But in terms of graphics, the Gen 4 remakes looks absolutely fine. There was a fan-made trailer by, what's the name? Millennium Loops? Yeah, Millennium Loops. They made their own trailer to show what they would have liked the game to have been, and it's actually pretty good. It's probably what a lot of people were expecting. Hell, I was expecting it to be like that. I won't lie and say that I'm not disappointed to a certain extent, but I'm not upset by it. Hell, I can even understand people being upset because they didn't even use the Let's Go art style, which is kind of a cross between the chibi and what we have now with Sword and Shield. I wouldn't have minded them using that art style either, but I'm still not upset with the chibi stuff. Watching this trailer, I could really only wonder how much better that game would have been compared to Sword and Shield. And I can't say that I would have looked that much better. And if that would have been the case, people would have been just as upset and it would have been the exact same situation we're in now, where people are just complaining about stuff. I just think it would be more of a valid reason to be angry, because that would show minimal effort in development. So really, this is potentially a lose-lose situation, seeing as how the Pokemon fanbase can be online at this point. I only see one real issue the game could have, and that's it being too faithful to the original. Which isn't even a real problem to have, since it would just be more of an accessible way for people to play a game they didn't have a chance to play before. This is the first remake that's being done by a different development team, so there's a good chance the game just won't try anything new. Gen 1 was an exception. That game had such a facelift, it's kind of okay. Gen 2 gave us Pokemon following us, which is now something most Pokemon fans want in every new Pokemon game. And Gen 3 changed the designs of the characters, added a whole new section for the post-game, and integrated Mega Evolutions into it. I can see them adding a post-game for, like, Giratina, but that's probably it. Anyway, when it was first announced, a friend told me they could possibly maybe add Dynamaxing into it since they worked Megas into Gen 3. And they definitely could do that, but to me it just seems way easier for Megas to be added into a game for both gameplay and story reasons, since Dynamaxing is so specific. Point is, we're either going to have the same experience we had back then, or we're going to get something new tacked onto the end that could either be good or bad, but I don't think should hinder the overall experience you have. So as I was editing this video, this channel, Lutu? Yeah, let's go with that. Lutu put out a video called Why the Sinnoh Remakes Are So Worrying, and it goes into a lot more than just people being upset about graphics and art direction. He mentions it, but he goes into a lot more stuff. He mentions things about taking bits and pieces from Platinum, fixing certain mechanics that might have been wrong in the original Diamond and Pearl. It's a much more valid reason to be concerned about these remakes, so I do recommend you watching that. I still think the remakes will be at best decent. I will link it in my description. So I guess at the end of the day, don't be aggressively angry, don't be toxic, just wait till there's more info, or the game is actually out. You fucks. The fuck is up with that Legends game though, am I right? Jesus.